All right, welcome back to Crypto Harmonics. It's Monday, November 13th, and after a crazy weekend in cryptocurrency, we're going to take a look at where we're at on the charts after the dust has settled. If you've been following this channel, you had a pretty profitable weekend with the likes of Dash and Monero having some nice price rises, and then we're going to look at Litecoin and LISK as well on the charts. And Ethereum Classic, I'm going to show you guys where I took profits, but what I'm looking at now, if there's a potential to get back in. And then I want to start the video actually with showing you guys why I got in as this latest Bitcoin correction came down to 5,500, why that was a perfect place for me to buy. And I'll show you guys how to spot it next time because it happens so quick. You won't be able to watch a YouTube tutorial on it. You'll need to be able to know how to do it and how to spot it. So I want to show you guys that. So let's get started. Okay guys, so I want to look at Bitcoin first and why I was expecting a bounce. Obviously, after the fact, it's easy to say, yes, that was obviously a great place to buy Bitcoin. It's gone up $1,000 since then. But remember, you're not looking at that at the time of buying. This is what you're seeing on the charts. A lot of red. We got 4 or 5 down days in a row. Bitcoin isn't even the real Bitcoin anymore. Now Bitcoin Cash is the real Bitcoin. Just a lot of stuff going on. A lot of fear. And so why are you buying when everyone else is selling? Like a good trader should be doing. So I want to kind of show you guys what I look for on that. Really simply, that way you can do it yourself and see it on the charts because it's going to happen again and it's going to happen over and over again. And you're not going to have time to go watch a YouTube video or somebody that's doing technical analysis because this happened in a matter of minutes, maybe hours, and it hit your target and sucked back up and you've already missed the trade. So let me show you guys what I look for. I'm mainly looking for two things. One, I'm looking at this leg and I'm seeing is anywhere in this leg have an area where price was consolidating or a little bit indecisive. Like it didn't know which way it wanted to go. Did it want to go up or down? So obviously from the start of this move, it is very decisive. It wants to go up. And it finally hits this little range here for a couple weeks and bounces around in between 51 and 61, somewhere in there, and is just bouncing around, and then it decides it wants to go higher. So this is my area of attraction here for me. So I know that price is going to want to maybe come back down here and attract, but that's not enough for me. I need some kind of confluence or convergence or some kind of other indicator to signal where exactly in this move, because that's a big area. You know, that's 51 to 61. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a Fibonacci retracement, which a lot of people use and a lot of people are looking at, right? Starting from the bottom of this leg or this move all the way to the top. Okay, and I've got two retracements that come into this area. I've got the 382 and I've got the 50. And why I chose the 50, and I don't know if I have it pulled up on the Slack. I just have the picture, but underneath in the comments, if you're in the Slack, you saw me post this, that although we had this huge, this huge move down over the last few days, it hadn't even hit the 382 retracement yet. So I wasn't really even worried. And I said the 50 actually looks really promising right there. So let me show you why I was thinking that. So the green line here, you guys know I front run a little bit of my trades. So instead of being exactly on the 50, I'm a little bit up. But let me delete this off here. So the reason is the 382 comes in right around here at like a little over $6,000. We had just had a trend line break at 6,200. So for me, that signaled, look, and you guys, if you've been trading a little while, you know that when you have a trend line break, you usually have a pretty big spike down pretty quickly because a lot of people are watching that trend. And so I knew that a 382 was really, although it was safely going to hit the 382, I thought it was a pretty safe bet for it to hit this 50 here in this area, and then also because it was breaking this trend line. So I hope that makes sense. That was my area for a reversal. Now, I'm not saying it can't come back down and test that, but right now it really looks very strong for another little move up, at least for a little bit, and then it might come back down and try and test that. But what I'm watching today is this candle. If we get an engulfing candle, meaning this green candle swallows up this red one here like it's at currently, that's usually a pretty bullish sign as well for the future trend of Bitcoin there. And I would just encourage you guys to go back and experiment with other trend lines, like other legs up. Look at other trends like this and see if there was an area where price consolidated, and then take your retracement up there and see if there was a price reversal, at least a temporary one, that had some kind of confluence with the Fibonacci number and in that range, because it does happen very frequently. So okay, let's look at some of the altcoins and some of the trades we were in over the weekend. So we got to start with Dash because it just killed it over the weekend. I hope some of you guys were following along with me. If you were, you made some pretty good returns. For me, I had this bearish butterfly pattern that showed up for Dash at around $460, I think was the exit for me. And so I was out there. And even though everything within me was like, oh man, this thing's going higher, it's going to blow past $500, I had to stick to my trading plan, and I'm glad I did. And I'm always glad when I do. Listen, don't try and pick the very top and the very bottoms and get greedy. Just stick to your trading plan and take chunks out of the market. This was a really big chunk to take out of the market. But even if you're taking small chunks out of the market, you're doing really well and a lot better than most people if you can do it consistently. So that's why I love these patterns here. That worked really well for an exit for me. And then we can look at it relative to Bitcoin also. And if you guys remember on the last video, we were sitting somewhere around here. And I was saying, you know, it hitting this 382, which is this blue line, was a no-brainer. But I was really shooting for this 618. Which it did hit this target, and then it blew past that as well. So a really good trade here. You know, although it went much further past it, again, not trying to be greedy and try and pick perfect tops. That's a quick way to get burned on trading. So just take your chunk out of the market and be happy with it. We can see LISK here briefly as well. Another one we were looking at using to hedge against this Bitcoin downturn. And it's had a nice little run up, hitting our first target. And then second target's up here. So I'm still holding a good chunk of my LISK, hoping that it outperforms Bitcoin kind of going up into the end of the year. Okay, and then I want to look at Ethereum Classic real quick. So I was looking for, if you remember, I was looking for 21 to 2250. This was kind of my price reversal range. It went right up in there. I actually, in all honesty, I kind of ended up selling around a little bit lower here because I missed it. This happened so quick. It shot up in there and then just had this huge dump. I'm actually thinking about buying back in though around here and kind of seeing if I can catch another move up to where it tries to test this $19 to $20 range even. I might zoom out and see if I can start getting a little trend line going here and see if it wants to come and try and touch that in the coming weeks. But I don't have anything positive right now, but I will let you guys know if I get a pattern or a signal to buy Ethereum Classic. But for right now, I pretty much dumped my Ethereum Classic after it hit this price reversal zone and kind of fell out of there. Here's MANERO. I just missed it on MANERO. So I had my target for MANERO right around here. And I just missed it. So I still have my MANERO. We're going to look at it on the dollar here. Obviously not a good sign if it closes that far down. I'd like to see it suck up the day here. And if it does come back up and touch this area, or get close to this and look like it's kind of making a double top here, I might take off my Monero holdings and buy some more Bitcoin with it. But it has had a really solid move up, and sometimes that just happens. Like you just fall just short of your target there, and you just don't panic sell down here, because then what's the point? You already cut like half your profits out. Just hold it, and you know, you can even set a stop loss at your original entry here so you don't lose any money on it. But I'm still going to hold Monero, hoping for a continuation of this kind of trend that it's had up here. But we'll see. Let's look at it on the dollar. Okay, and we got Monero here on the dollar at around 123. We got in at a really good price, so I'm not, you know, looking to offload anything right now. I was looking for this 143, 144 area as a possible exit for Monero, but I'm also watching Monero on the previous BTC chart to see if we line up there with anything. So I'll definitely be watching. I like watching both to see if I can get some kind of indicator. If we're running up into resistance levels on both, that's usually a really good indicator to sell. So we'll kind of see. I'm going to keep an eye on Monero, but for right now, I'm just holding it. It looks like it probably could come back down a little bit and before it tries to make another run up. Okay, and lastly, just briefly, here's Litecoin again. You know, I'm not looking to offload my Litecoin for Bitcoin until we reach this red line here. So that's 0.014. And so we got a ways to go. That's another, you know, 50% move. So, but I think Litecoin has it in it. So we'll kind of see. I'm watching it. I'm also watching it on the dollar, but relative to Bitcoin, this is kind of my target. But it also, if it reaches up here, it's also kind of matching with the bearish indicator I would have on Litecoin relative to the dollar. In Litecoin on the dollar, this is kind of my potential reversal zone here. So in this mid 80s to $90, $91. And we could see percentage wise, that's about a 50% move up into that area, which kind of correlates with what we were just looking at on the Litecoin Bitcoin chart. So that's always good. And as of right now, it's just kind of pitter-pattering around right here. Like I said in the last video, Litecoin's a pretty stable coin. It doesn't have a lot of huge moves, although it has this year had a couple really nice runs up. But for the most part, it kind of stays pretty stable, at least for a cryptocurrency. So I'll definitely be watching today and see. It may kind of wedge out a little bit here and have a breakout, but I'm definitely still watching the price action on the Litecoin Bitcoin chart as well, because I think it's undervalued relative to Bitcoin. All right, guys, that about does it for me. This is the Slack here. If you guys are interested, you can join here. I'm not super active with it, but I do post, I try to post some trade ideas at least every day or every other day. And you can see I was posting stuff on Dash yesterday. So you can join here. Make sure you go to trade ideas though, and not just the general chat there. And I was thinking about doing a Telegram as well. I originally was going to do that, just haven't got around to it. But if I do get around to it, I'll post the link to that as well. So, all right, guys, take care. I'll see you next time.